In late May 2024, the Taiwan Strait became a focal point of international attention. During this period, China conducted large-scale military exercises. These exercises were held in response to the inauguration of Taiwan's new president, Lai Ching-te, and represented a notable development in cross-strait relations. Beijing communicated its position that Taiwan's statements on sovereignty would be addressed directly. The exercises, named Joint Sword 2024A, began shortly after Lai's inauguration, indicating a shift in Beijing's approach. The maneuvers involved the PLA operating around Taiwan, illustrating China's expanding military capabilities and its approach to regional issues. Observers noted that the drills served both as a form of political signaling and as a demonstration of military capacity. For Taiwan and its partners, the exercises established a new context for regional security considerations. The international community responded by expressing concern and viewing the drills as a message relevant to Taiwan, the US, and allied nations. The timing and scope of the exercises indicated a change in the status quo in the Taiwan Strait. As the exercises concluded, Taiwan began to assess its security environment with renewed attention. The ongoing question is how the region will respond to these recent developments. China's military exercises were a show of force, mobilizing dozens of warships and aircraft around Taiwan. The PLA's Eastern Theater Command deployed advanced fighter jets, bombers, and naval vessels in zones that nearly encircled the island. These drills simulated a full blockade, targeting key shipping lanes and airspace, and bringing military activity dangerously close to Taiwan's outlying islands. Chinese state media showcased the PLA's ability to cut off Taiwan from the outside world, practicing interdiction of naval traffic and control of the skies. Over 2 days, Taiwan tracked more than 100 PLA aircraft and numerous ships, many crossing the once respected median line. The exercises were not just about intimidation, they tested the PLA's readiness for high-tempo, multi-domain operations. For Taiwan's defense planners, the message was clear: Beijing can isolate the island quickly and comprehensively. The drills demonstrated a leap in China's operational capabilities, raising the specter of a real blockade scenario. The world took note. This was a rehearsal for something far more serious. Beijing's official narrative was uncompromising. These drills were a punishment for Taiwan's pro-independence stance. State media amplified the message, portraying President Lai as a provocateur, and the exercises as a justified defense of Chinese sovereignty. The PLA released dramatic videos, including animations of missile strikes on major Taiwanese cities, designed to intimidate and demoralize. The propaganda campaign aimed to delegitimize Taiwan's government and frame Beijing's actions as defensive. The codename, Joint Sword 2024A, suggested this was just the beginning, hinting at more exercises to come. By making military intimidation routine, Beijing signaled that any move toward formal independence would be met with overwhelming force. The psychological impact was as important as the military one. Taiwan and the world were meant to feel the weight of China's resolve. The drills set a new standard for coercion in the Taiwan Strait. For Beijing, this was strategic messaging with global reach. Despite the pressure, Taiwan's government projected calm and resolve. President Lai reaffirmed his commitment to democracy and national security, calling for dialogue but refusing to be intimidated. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense provided transparent updates, countering Chinese propaganda with facts and images of its own military readiness. The public remained largely unfazed. Decades of living under threat have bred resilience. Daily life continued, markets stabilized, and rallies for democracy went on, undeterred. Lai used the moment to thank international supporters and frame Taiwan's struggle as a fight for democratic values. The official response balanced military vigilance with diplomatic outreach, showing Taiwan as a responsible actor. The message: Taiwan will not bow to coercion, and its fate is tied to the broader struggle for freedom in the Indo-Pacific. The world saw a population determined to defend its way of life. The US condemned China's drills, urging restraint but stopping short of direct military escalation. Statements from the White House and State Department called the exercises reckless, reaffirming support for Taiwan under the Taiwan Relations Act. Washington's policy of strategic ambiguity remained intact, deterring both Chinese aggression and a unilateral declaration of independence by Taiwan. The looming U.S. presidential election added uncertainty, with political debate casting doubt on the future of American commitments. Despite strong rhetoric, the U.S. military response was restrained. The USS Ronald Reagan stayed in international waters, avoiding provocative maneuvers. This dual-track approach, firm words, cautious actions, was designed to manage risk and avoid escalation. Allies watched closely, wary of shifting U.S. resolve. For Beijing and Taipei, the ambiguity was both a deterrent and a source of anxiety. The U.S. signaled support for Taiwan, but the limits of that support remained deliberately unclear. The crisis exposed the delicate balance at the heart of U.S. policy in the region. Alongside its military moves, China launched a diplomatic offensive, targeting the US and Japan for their support of Taiwan. Beijing accused Washington of fueling separatism and interfering in China's internal affairs, framing the drills as a sovereign right. Japan's expressions of concern drew sharp rebukes, with Beijing warning Tokyo against supporting Taiwan. China's diplomats reiterated the One China principle, warning that any official support for Taiwan would trigger firm countermeasures. The messaging was aimed at a global audience, casting the U.S. as an imperialist power and seeking support from countries wary of American influence. The diplomatic fallout was as significant as the military signaling, a battle for international legitimacy and influence. The Joint Sword 2024A drills were more than a show of force. They were a practical test of China's ability to blockade Taiwan. By simulating the cutting of sea and air routes, the PLA demonstrated it could isolate the island without a full-scale invasion. The exercises doubled as psychological warfare, aiming to sap Taiwan's will to resist and warn the US and its allies of the risks of intervention. Drills on Taiwan's eastern flank signaled China's readiness to counter US forces approaching from Japan or Guam. The PLA used the opportunity to refine its joint operations, command, and logistics. Each exercise sharpens China's capabilities, making future threats more credible. The codename 2024A suggests more drills are coming, each one raising the stakes. The message: China is preparing for all scenarios and wants the world to know it. The aftermath of Joint Sword 2024A has left the Indo-Pacific on edge. China's ability to encircle and blockade Taiwan is now a demonstrated reality, forcing new strategic calculations across the region. The risk of miscalculation or escalation is higher than ever, with communication channels between the US and China dangerously limited. Taiwan remains determined to defend its sovereignty, while Beijing is equally resolved to prevent independence. The drills underscored the urgent need for crisis management and dialogue, but deep political divides make this difficult. The Taiwan Strait remains a flashpoint, with peace dependent on restraint and wisdom from all sides. The May 2024 exercises were not the end, but a warning of what may come. The region's future now hangs in the balance, shaped by choices yet to be made.